everyone. We really appreciate you coming out. It's wonderful to see all these great folks from all over Middle Georgia and all the way down to Valdosta. We want to acknowledge and thank Warner Robins Police Department and the Buildings Management Company for responding to our request to assemble this morning. I want to introduce the organizers of the event, and we have lost one of them, so
I'm here.
Okay. My name is Lynn Snyder, and I'm from Macon.
Anita Barkin from Macon. Marty Copland from Macon.
We all represent several organizations in Middle Georgia. We've been a part of a lot of them, so the three of us are the main organizers for this particular event. We also want to make sure you're aware of the rules this morning. We'll go over the run of the show in just a minute, but we also want to let you know that this is a peaceful assembly. The purpose is to make Congressman Scott aware of the questions and concerns of his constituents. We're not chanting, we're not marching, we're not going to engage any counter-protesters. We're going to be peaceful. And to let Speaker of the House Mike Johnson know we are not paid protesters. That's an important fact. Sorry for the wind. We're here today as residents of the 8th Congressional District in Middle Georgia who are concerned about the lack of leadership coming from our elected Congressman, Austin Scott. Our intentions as voters are being mismanaged by this elected official. During congressional recesses, Mr. Scott tours the district, visiting friendly venues, raising money. He goes on friendly Fox News, Fox Business, and as far as we can tell, his last town hall was August of 2015, and that was for veterans only, so it really wasn't a constituents town hall. It was longer than 10 years. If you're not aware, not only is he not holding the town hall, not only has the staff said he won't hold the town hall, the NRCC chairman, Richard Hudson, told Republican lawmakers to stop holding in-person town halls because of the angry backlash over cuts undertaken by the current administration. Don't you find it disturbing that other countries are pushing back against the lawlessness of this administration when our own Congress, whose authority comes from Article 1 of the Constitution, is not? Yes. Yes. Congressman Scott is accountable to his constituents and his oath to the Constitution, not the administration. We have no kings in this country.
Good morning. Okay, so this is the format for our gathering. We have lots of questions and concerns for the congressman, but want you to have an opportunity to ask them as well. The chair, you will note at the front, is empty, and this represents the absence of our congressman. Please. We have what we would like to do before you leave is, in addition to your asking your question before the crowd so that everyone can hear the questions and concerns, we would ask that you write your questions down and put your name and address on the questions. If you need paper and pencil, we have paper and pens here. What we plan to do is give Congressman Scott all of the questions that have been posed here this morning. In order to respect people's time, please come up, ask your question. If your question's already been asked, feel free to ask a different question. And we will be sure that Representative Scott is aware of what our concerns are. We have an administration that is taking our country down morally, economically, legally, and socially. Trump's administration is violating our Constitution and ignoring the orders of our courts. Executive orders are not laws. Why are they being followed as such? Representative Scott is complicit in the unraveling of our democracy by his actions. Voting for Trump's agenda without reservation, ignoring the voices of the people he represents, and selling his constituents out with his support of measures that hurt the children, seniors, and the disabled, and hurts the economy of District 8. Representative Scott is on the wrong side of history. And we are here to remind him that we see him for who he is. Thank you.
Are we starting? Questions?
I'm going to start with question number 1, which is actually multiple parts because it's about veterans. If you don't know, I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran of the Vietnam era and Operation Desert Storm.
Thank you for your service.
As I mentioned before, Congressman Scott's last town hall was a veterans-only town hall. I wasn't invited, just letting you know. In that town hall, he bragged about his work in Congress, focusing on improving veterans' health, holding the VA accountable, and increasing veterans' employment and housing. Quoting him, "Our country was founded on checks and balances, and the VA should be no different." Since then, in 2025, roughly 6,000 veterans have been fired from federal jobs, and 83,000 VA employees are slated to be fired this year. My question to Congressman Scott is, how do these firings improve veterans' health and increase their employment and housing?
It doesn't.
My next part is, Musk and his minions have canceled nearly 900 contracts supporting VA patients' safety and veterans' privacy. They have limited medical center purchase cards to $1. They even eliminated the contract with the company that sterilizes operating room instruments. What are you doing, Congressman, to fix this travesty? The next part of my question on veterans is the United States at war? If yes, then please tell us with whom. If not, please tell us how Mr. Trump can invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 that gives the president the authority to detain or deport nationals of the nation in time of war.
It's bullshit!
And my last one on veterans, and I'm sure there are many more. The administration under Mr. Trump's direction has removed all links to web pages about Black, Hispanic, and female veterans buried at Arlington National Cemetery. Is this a patriotic tribute to the brave men and women who died for our country? Or just a slap in the face to those who served?
Slap in the face.
Marty.
Yes. Hey.
So my question is about the SAVE Act. You, empty chair, voted in favor of the SAVE Act, Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, with absolutely no evidence of widespread voter fraud at all. Statistically speaking, it's more likely to find a person who was struck by lightning than to find voter fraud. The simple truth is this act suppresses voters and places an undue burden on millions of Americans. This unwarranted, absurd legislation will require that in order to vote, your voter registration must match your birth certificate. Everybody got their birth certificate on them? No. I don't think so. It particularly affects senior citizens who may not have access to a birth certificate, the 140 Americans who do not have passports, and the 69 million women who have changed their vote and changed their name and taken their husband's name.
Right.
In-person requirement will interfere with military members serving abroad and keep them from being able to vote as well. What is the purpose of this legislation if not voter suppression? It is suppression. It certainly does nothing to make voting secure.
True.
That's my question.
I'm going to put my question on this chair. If anybody does not have paper and wants to write down their questions, raise your hand. We'll come around and bring you some paper and a pen.
Okay, my question is food insecurity. The USDA just cut $1 billion in school lunch programs and food banks. Are you okay with a cut that hurts school children in the district you represent who depend on school lunches for nourishment? Are you okay with a program that cuts food supplies from the neediest in District 8? Are you okay with cuts that undermine the support of Georgia's agricultural industry? Well, I'm not. I want my tax dollars to support these programs rather than lining oligarchs' pockets with more money.
Another reminder, if you parked out front, please move your car. The clinic next to Austin Scott's office is asking that they have parking spots available for their patients. Please. Anyone come on up and ask a question. Please come on up.
And real quick, if you'll just say and spell your first and last name for media. Thank you.
My name is Faye, F-A-Y-E. My last name is hyphenated, Banks, B-A-N-K-S, hyphen Anderson, A-N-D-E-R-S-O-N. Good morning. I'd like to ask just a few questions. I used to work at Robins Air Force Base, so I know how my federal employees feel. So I want to know, do you believe the president's haphazard way of just drastically cutting federal workers, citing fraud, waste, and abuse without documentation? How would you like it if we came to your work where you were told that day or within a few days to get out? Have you spoken to your constituents through a town hall? He's not here.
No.
Have you spoken, when you've spoken to military members or to senior staff on the base, did you engage with the average American?
No.
This community has a large number of federal workers, military members, and retirees, veterans, and more. Whether on base or off base, you represent a very diverse population, and I'd like you to remember that and consider your collective audiences and keep them informed. Please remember that Robins Air Force Base has a $4.2 billion economic impact on the state of Georgia. They deserve your efforts and for you to speak out publicly, even when the president's policies needlessly and arbitrarily affect us. Not only are we civilian and military members of, with a boost to the state, we're a vital cog for the U.S. Air Force, the DOD, the warfighters, and our nation's security. And before I go on, because I have a lot, I do want to ask about DEI. I do want to ask about the veterans. I do want to ask why all this fraud, waste, and abuse that they're supposedly cutting, where is it?
Where's the proof?
Where is the proof?
Where's the proof?
Show me that just completely gutting Department of Education means something to people. It has nothing, the Department of Education, where you're cutting it at the federal level, has nothing to do with our schools. That's at the state level, from K through 12th grade. That's at the community level. What are you going to do when all of our children or all of our friends are trying to go to school to further their education, and you've cut the Department of Education who's over the grants, the loans, the whatevers to get you there? What are you going to do? Thank you. Oh, and one more thing. My husband's a veteran. My husband's a retired military member from this area. He's actually from Fitzgerald, Georgia. He served this country. What are you going to do with him when it comes to the Veterans Administration to make sure that people with disabilities, people who depend on you, people who have fought for your country, what are you going to do to save them? Thank you.
Anyone else?
My name is Maggie Boxey, Maggie. B is in boy, Oxey. And I'm from Fitzgerald, Georgia. And I have a very simple and short question to ask this empty chair. I would ask the congressman to explain to us in simple language why billionaires need a $4.5 trillion tax cut. And how will that benefit my husband and I, who have 34 years of military service between us? I have a disabling chronic illness, and our health care is in jeopardy if Medicaid is cut, Medicare is cut. Our hospitals, Fitzgerald, Georgia, we're at risk of losing our providers. So, Congressman, why is it okay for billionaires to get such a huge tax cut when normal people like us are at risk of losing our social safety nets? That's my question.
Hey, my name is Sheila Keene, SHEILAKEENE, and I'll talk about just two things. First, I want to say I'm an independent, so this is not about party politics. It's about responsibility, our democracy, making sure the Constitution is upheld. I was a DoD contractor for 20 plus years before I retired. I was a robotics engineer and a computer software consultant, and I had a security clearance, and I had access to many data systems. I know how long it takes to get those things done, and it takes a long time for a reason. And so for Elon Musk and his team to have access to these systems without that vetting is not okay. And I want to know what Mr. Scott is doing about that to make sure that these people that are in our systems going through our information are vetted to do so.
They're not.
The second thing is the president has identified 100 plus words to be eliminated, avoided, or removed from government websites and documents. And of those words, one is female, the other is women. There are many, many, many more. I went to the DoD website Monday a week ago. I did a simple search on the word female. Of the 20 documents that showed up, 7 are no longer available. That's just the first page. And these are not controversial documents. They're stories about women. The first female Navy commander. That story is gone. It is not okay. And I want to know what Mr. Scott is doing to stop that. It's reckless, it's wrong. Our history's being erased. It's not okay. Thank you.
Exactly, Enola Gay.
Good morning. I'm born into Middle Georgia.
Your name and
Marion, M-A-R-I-O-N, McMillan, M-C-M-I-L-L-A-N. Representative Austin Scott. Georgia's pecan farmers are still recovering from Trump's prior 2017 tariffs.
Yep.
They caused a dramatic drop in Chinese exports. The effect this time on Georgia's biggest agricultural export by Trump's tariffs will be worse.
Yep.
Why have you been silent on this issue?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Protect our farmers.
Take that question and skip it over here. Put it right here.
And last, Representative Austin Scott. Who's your daddy? The voters in the 8th district or an unelected oligarch known as Elon Musk?
All right. Here's
Get rid of Elon Musk.
Come on. Fire Elon Musk.
Thank you.
Back.
Lynn, can you get that one that doesn't blow?
I've got two questions actually, one for Elon and one for you guys. My name is Vince Watkins, V-I-N-C-E-W-A-T-K-I-N-S. My question for Austin Scott is, you represent the 8th district full of wonderful people. Why are you not here? Why do you not represent them? Why are you representing Elon Musk? Why are you not representing them?
Who's his daddy?
I know who his daddy is. His daddy is a a doctor in Tifton, where I'm from. His dad is a great man. I gotta tell you something though. Austin Scott is no Dr. Scott. My question to all you guys is, can we do better? Because I'm running. My name is Vince Watkins. You can go to vincewatkins.org. I'm running, and I promise you, I will serve you.
You bet. You bet.
There will be town meetings. There will be town halls. I will serve you to the best that I can, but I ask you to be patient with me because I have Parkinson's disease, and that's why I'm shaking like a leaf up here. But thank you all.
Thank you.
I love the 8th. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're up. Yes, okay, come on up.
Robert Schumacher, RobertSchumacher. I might actually be partially responsible for Representative Scott going into hiding. I went to one of his town hall meetings back in December of 2013 and talked to him about the Affordable Care Act that was just going into effect at that time and how I just signed up. And he was saying it was horrible and he voted to repeal it so many times. I ended up on Channel 13 and Channel 41 at that time. And since then, he has gone into hiding. So I had to show up.
It's your fault.
My fault, yeah. So I've got a list of 12 questions. I'll spare you the 12, but I'll leave them here. And I didn't even get around to health care and Medicare and Medicaid and those types of things in my questions. But I got 3 quick ones that relate to foreign affairs, and I'll go through them. The first one being, Donald Trump is in the process of tearing down alliances with Canada, Mexico, and Europe, while at the same time aligning himself with Putin and Russia. Explain how this course of action is good for the United States, either in the short term or the long term. Along with the above, Trump's fondness for Putin is leading him to abandon Ukraine. You are a strong advocate for Ukraine. What are you and your colleagues doing to keep Ukraine properly armed and funded so that they can save their homeland? And then finally, also on the subject of foreign relations, Trump is threatening hostile actions against Panama, Canada, and Greenland. Do you believe that the U.S. should take the Panama Canal by force? Should we attempt to make Canada the 51st state? Should we purchase Greenland or take it by force if a purchase offer is refused? How does any of this help with America's global standing?
It does.
Thank you for your time, everybody.
Sorry about that. Who's next?
Good morning. My name is Michael O'Neill. MICHAELO''Neil. I am a voter, a combat veteran, and a taxpayer. I want to thank everybody that's come out here today. And I want to introduce you to an app. If you have not heard of it, it's called 5 Calls. The number 5 Calls. So if you've heard of it, great. If you haven't, download it on your phone. It gives you a quick script. Call Austin Scott. Let the representative know what you want him to be doing. So my question is, how long, Austin Scott, do you plan to allow Trump to defy the rule of law by illegally firing federal employees, deporting people without due process, and detaining naturalized citizens?
Hello everybody, my name is Julia Adele Callahan. I am the vice chair of the Macon-Bibb County Democratic Committee, and I am also the founder, or one of the co-founders of Middle Georgia for Choice. What I would like to start with is Austin Scott's stance on immigration from his website, and I would like to read it to you guys verbatim. It says, quote, "Like most Americans, I am deeply concerned about illegal immigration, and I recognize the danger it poses to our society and our economy. Our country is a nation of immigrants, and I believe that we should welcome immigrants that seek to come to this country through lawful channels to live, work, or study. However, illegal immigration is an issue that must be addressed. We must first secure our borders, remove the illegal immigrants currently in our country, and enforce our existing immigration laws before we attempt to implement any type of immigration reform. Illegal immigrants living in our country today are placing an unacceptable burden on the American taxpayer. Illegal immigrants place great strain on our prison system, healthcare system, and educational system. It is because of this reason that this is one of the most important domestic issues facing our nation today. Should legislation concerning immigration reform come to the House floor for a vote, I will consider it with your thoughts in mind.
Tell them our thoughts.
Yeah. You
That way you
claim,
voted against.
right, you claim on your website that illegal immigrants place great strain on our prison system. However, research shows that immigrants, including undocumented immigrants, are less likely to commit crimes than U.S. born citizens.
Exactly.
This is true at the national, state, county, and neighborhood levels, and for both violent and nonviolent crime. What information did you use to justify the claim that immigrants pose a strain on our prison system? Why are you using bigoted fear tactics to target a vulnerable population that research shows actually benefits our country?
He's afraid of everyone that's not white.
He is afraid of everybody who is not white.
Yes.
What do you think should happen with the American-born children of undocumented parentage? I also want to read from a fact sheet, Debunking the Myth of Immigrants and Crime, published on October 17, 2024. The American Immigration Council compared crime data to demographic data from 1980 to 2022, the most recent data available. The data showed that as the immigrant share of the population grew, the crime rate declined. In 1980, immigrants made up 6.2% of the U.S. population, and the total crime rate was 5,900 crimes per 100,000 people. By 2022, the share of immigrants had more than doubled to 13.9%, while the total crime rate had dropped by 60.4% to 2,335 crimes per 100,000 people. Specifically, the violent crime rate fell by 34.5%, and the property crime rate fell by 63.3%. So I will close again with the question, why are you using bigoted fear tactics to target a vulnerable population that research shows actually benefits our country?
Good morning, everybody. Hi, ooh, that is wildly loud. Good morning, everybody. How we doing? That's good, that's good. I am DeMarcus Beckham, that is D-E-M-A-R-C-U-S, Beckham. I'm a concerned constituent and also the regional organizer for the Human Rights Campaign. My question is, why is he sitting by and allowing the education department to be dismantled, which affects institutions like Middle Georgia State University, Georgia State College and University, and numerous public and private K-12 schools in his district?
Yes.
Why is he allowing Middle Georgia to lose millions of federal dollars in contracts and thousands of federal workers out of work?
Go Panthers, go Knights!
How can he pose for photo ops and go on talk conservative radio and spew the agenda of our president, and yet he is avoiding a listening session with his constituents face to face?
Yes.
Make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense.
I'm Julia J. Dormany, and I'm from Moultrie area. Julia, initial J, Dormany, D-O-R-M-I-N-E-Y. And I'll just follow up with your comment. I'm a retired educator. And to think about children going lacking is just so heartbreaking to me. So my question to the absent Austin Scott is, are you okay with children going hungry? No. Are you okay with children lacking the educational basics that they need to improve their lives? I hope not.
It's not pay protester, come on up.
I don't have a question. I just have a statement. I am not a paid protester. I am your constituent, and you are not representing me.
That's right.
My name is Lindsay Holliday. I'm a dentist from Macon. There's so many important issues. I'm surprised, though, as many people at my age that are here, nobody's talked about Social Security yet. Specifically.
That's my next one right here, okay?
And my retirement funds, the funds that I was going to use to retire on and put my grandkids through college. The Consumer Finance Protection Bureau has been shut down. That is the only way that we can assure that our stock market, that we're not getting cheated, people aren't stealing our funds. Also, Doge is inside Social Security right now, mining our data, stealing our data.
Right.
They have no right to that data.
No. Actually, they do have rights to our data. We didn't give it to them.
That's right. They don't have legal rights to our data.
Tax cap on Social Security.
So I just want to know what's the congressman going to do about these two enormous financial issues. Get the thieves out of our money.
All right, anyone else? Yep, okay. Fantastic.
Good morning. My name is Alan, A-L-A-N Youngblood. And I have one question and one perplexity, if you will let me. My question is very simple to our congressman. How can you, in good conscience, cut Medicaid and Medicare funding? Discriminating against the poor and seniors is not acceptable.
No.
Secondly, I'm genuinely perplexed. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm educated. And I know how to read a dictionary. And the dictionary states that a part of being treasonous is when you side with your enemies.
Yes.
So my question is, isn't this administration engaged in treason?
I just want to mention one thing about Social Security and cuts to Social Security and Medicaid. The congressman will never admit that that's what they're going to do.
No.
But what they're doing is closing offices, cutting hours, cutting employees, and they have decided in the budget to cut $800 million in Medicaid funding, which is 1 year's worth of dollars. So if they're not cutting Medicaid, they're doing it underhandedly and by the back door.
Yes.
Anyone else?
Yes.
My name is Britta, B-R-I-T-T-A, Mink, M-I-N-K. I'm from Valdosta. I'm a retired special education teacher, and so my question obviously is about education. In regards to the cutting of funds, when the funds are cut, especially for funding for school lunches and breakfasts, the children are going to be put at a much higher risk of increased behavior issues, which leads to higher rates of suspensions. They're going to have more difficulty concentrating, leading to an increased risk of learning difficulties and a higher rate of being retained in grades. It's going to lead to an increased health issue, which leads to additional absences, which leads to more time out of the learning environment. How is this beneficial to our children? And I, as an educator, I always kept food in my class, because even with the free meals, the children they came to school hungry. And my babies needed food. And what my babies needed, I gave to them. And that is what someone who represents our babies needs to do. And if these meals are being cut, then he is not representing our babies. And he needs to be out. And the main question we as Georgians need to ask is, what would Jimmy Carter do?
Anyone else? Oh, we have lots of people. Okay.
This is Julia Town.
Good morning. My name is Robert Evans. I'm from Northern Sylvester, Georgia, and I want everybody to see this. See this shirt.
I am the 99%.
I am the 99%. This shirt represents the poor, the sick, and the homeless and middle class Americans. We are not part of that 1% club that Trump have aligned himself with. We got cuts to social programs that affect people in this club. And that's wrong, America. We are all Americans here. We are all Americans. We just not up there, that 1%ers up there. And my question to the missing congressman, how long are you going to continue to take from the people in this club and give to the rich folks? We got to vote. We have to vote and vote those people out. We have to get people elected that's going to take care of people in this club.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Larry Hinkle, Hinkle. I'm a resident of Warner Robins. I'm not a paid protester, but I'm mad as hell and ain't gonna take it. I have a couple of simple questions. The first one is, why is it when any Republican is asked any question, their answer is Joe Biden and the Biden administration?
Someone else's fault.
You're in charge now, so why don't you do something?
And take responsibility.
My other question is, do you know any black people other than Herschel Walker and Byron Donaldson? I've been black in this country for 80 years. I've seen the assassination of John F. Kennedy and Robert Kennedy, Dr. King. I've been through the Vietnam War, the Iraq War, and all I hear on TV is what black people want, but nobody ever asks me. If you really want to know what black people want, why don't you ask a black person? Senator Scott, I'm one of your constituents, and if you need help, just call me. See, I showed up today because I have a friend. I was on the phone and just complaining and complaining. And he said, well, what are you going to do about it? He says, write a letter to your congressman. And I said, well, obviously my congressman don't know how to read. So I decided to show up in person. Just like you. We, the people. My final question is, Representative Scott, have you got a new resume? Because your days are numbered and you need a new job.
Next. And we're just going to take a few more questions.
Good morning. My name is Shirley McMinns, SHIRLEY McMinns. My question is not only to Scott, but to all of our representatives in Congress and in the Senate, in the House and in the Senate. We elected you. Your job is to represent us. Tell us the truth. Are we gonna be a democracy, or do we all need to speak Russian?
Yes.
This has reached the point of not only being disgusting, but being ridiculous.
And embarrassing.
And embarrassing. I have worked as a CFO for the last 52 years, and I did not retire to get on the battlefield to have to fight for democracy. But people, that's what we're gonna have to do.
Thank you. Thank you. Mary, you had a question? And then this will be, are y'all okay with this being the last?
Okay, I'll make this short. My name is Harry Zalumis. Harry as in the Prince, Zalumis. Z-A-L-O-U-M-E-S. My father came here in the 30s, an immigrant from Greece, and was recognized in 1978 by the city of Warner Robins as one of the old-timers who helped to found this city. At the time he came, it was called Wellston Field. It was a third-rate Army Air Base, and now look what it is. My question to you, Austin, is if you deport all the people that are trying to gain citizenship or trying to get a foothold in our area here, who's going to pick your peaches? Who's going to pick your vegetables? Who's going to do the beautiful masonry work on your office here?
You're not going to do it.
And so I hope that you will try to do something to help stop this illegal deportation. Thank you.
Thank you. In the interest of time, I'm pretty sure, I'd like to hope that everybody felt they were heard, certainly more than they've been heard recently. So with your permission, I'd like to bring this to a close. I want to thank everybody for taking the time out of your busy schedules to come here today. It is not your job to be here, but you've all come today to demonstrate your concern for our state, our country, and our democracy. The fact is, to quote a great movie, Cool Hand Luke, what we have here, join me, is a failure to communicate. Communication requires speaking and listening. We have a congressman who simply is not interested in hearing from his constituents. Mr. Scott was elected to serve, not to ignore. This alarmingly gerrymandered district of his has him believing that his seat is safe as long as he pleases the current administration. But the fact is, he works for us, not just the people he agrees with or the people he likes, or the people, as you said so perfectly, who look like him. He swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution.
Do your job.
Hold this for me, would you? Thank you so much. Do you remember this? Oh, you can hold it up. It's okay. He swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution. Nowhere, thank you for the prop, nowhere in this oath does it say that he's only there to support the interest of those in this administration. We are here to tell him that we are tired of his blind loyalty to this agenda, no matter the consequences to us, his constituents. We are fed up with his willingness to ignore the people of Georgia's 8th District. So, when you leave here today, we encourage you to stay engaged. Write letters, send emails, make calls to Austin Scott's office here and in D.C., to your senators' offices in Atlanta and in D.C. If you don't think you know the right words to say, as somebody else brought up before, 5calls.org is a phenomenal website. And here, Lynn, will you hold that up? And we have a couple of Facebook pages. Those of us who are organizers have some Facebook pages that you are welcome to join, because we provide information and scripts for, you know, the words that maybe you are struggling to find to say to your congressman, maybe in clean language. or not, as some cases may be. They need to hear from us. They need to know how important the future of our country is to each of us, to each of you. Don't let the failure to communicate be yours. Speak up, speak often, and when there's another election, what are you going to do? Vote.
As you may have known, the police are here. We're not getting kicked out, but we have obstructed the businesses with all our cars. So we need to wrap this up so people can move their cars, or if you have something else you want to say to the congressman and your car, you want to move your car and come back, we'll be here for a little bit longer. If that's okay, please.
Okay, we're going to wrap this up with a song because I am tired of our being considered less patriotic than the people that are sitting in the White House right now. I want to take our patriotism back. And I have Annette O'Neill here who's going to lead us in My Country 'Tis of Thee.
So everybody sing along. My country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. My country 'tis of thee, land of the noble free, thy name I love. I love thy rocks and rills, thy woods and templed hills. My heart with rapture fills like that above. Let music swell the breeze and ring from all the trees, sweet freedom song. Let mortal tongues awake, let all that breathe partake, let rocks their silence break, the sound prolong. Our Father God, to thee, author of liberty, to thee I sing. Sweet land of liberty, for all eternity, let freedom ring. One more time. Let freedom ring.
I want to get a picture with, can the chicken stand up? Put the chicken on the chair. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. We'll help you if you need help.